A woman dropped her wallet on the subway. The man who picked it up was a millionaire CEO. What would you do if you lost everything you had? On a subway floor. For Emma Carter, that wallet held more than $47. It held her hope, her dignity, her daughter's next meal. And when a stranger picked it up, she had no idea he was a millionaire CEO. But what happened next wasn't about money. It was about a choice, a moment, a test of character that would change two lives forever. This is the true story of the wallet that changed everything. The alarm clock screamed at 5:15 a.m. The same way it did every morning. Emma Carter's hand shot out from under the thin blanket and silenced it with practiced precision. For a moment she lay still in the darkness of her small bedroom, gathering the strength to face another day. 34 years old, single mother, 2 jobs, 1 daughter, 0 margin for error. Emma sat up slowly, her body protesting from yesterday's double shift at the diner and 4 hours stocking shelves at the convenience store. The apartment was cold. The heating bill had been adjusted last month, which meant she kept the thermostat lower than she wanted, but Lily's room stayed warm. That was all that mattered. She padded quietly down the narrow hallway, past walls that needed painting and floors that creaked with every step. This wasn't the life she'd imagined at 25 when she'd married Michael. Back then, there had been promises, dreams, a future that looked nothing like this. But Michael left when Lily was 2. The reasons didn't matter anymore. What mattered was the 8-year-old girl sleeping peacefully in the next room, clutching a stuffed rabbit that had seen better days. Emma stopped at Lily's doorway. Even in the dim light, she could see her daughter's face, peaceful and innocent, unaware of how hard her mother fought every single day to keep food on the table and a roof over their heads, unaware of the bills stacked on the kitchen counter, unaware that Emma's work shoes had holes in them, or that she'd been eating 1 meal a day so Lily could have 2. Morning hasn't even started, and I'm already tired, Emma whispered to herself. She moved to the kitchen and began the morning routine. Coffee, oatmeal, a packed lunch for Lily with a peanut butter sandwich, an apple, and a small bag of pretzels. She'd written a note on the napkin like she did every day. You are loved. You are strong. You are my sunshine. Mom. At 6:30 she woke Lily gently. Good morning, sweetheart. Lily's eyes opened slowly, then brightened when she saw her mother. Morning, Mama. Time to get ready for school. I made your favorite. Lily sat at their small kitchen table still in her pajamas and ate her oatmeal while Emma brushed her hair into 2 neat ponytails. These quiet moments were Emma's favorite part of the day. No rushing, no stress, just mother and daughter, together. Mama, are you working at both places today? Lily asked softly. Yes, baby, but Mrs. Chen next door will pick you up from school and stay with you until I get home. I'll be back by 8, okay? Okay. Lily paused. Mama, can I ask you something? Always. Why do you work so much? Emma's heart clenched. She knelt down beside her daughter's chair and took her small hands in hers. Because I want to give you the best life I can, sweetheart. I want you to have everything you need, and one day, things will be easier, I promise. Lily nodded, her young face so serious, so trusting. I know, Mama, you're the best mom in the world. Emma hugged her tightly, fighting back tears. And you're the best daughter in the universe. By 7:45, Lily was on the school bus, and Emma was on the subway, heading to her first job. The train was packed with commuters, everyone lost in their own worlds, their own struggles. Emma stood near the doors, gripping the pole, her worn purse pressed against her side. Inside that purse was her wallet. Brown leather, a gift from her mother before she passed. It contained $47, her last bit of cash until Friday's paycheck. It also held her ID, a photo of Lily, and a folded piece of paper with the address of a potential 3rd job interview next week. A better job. An office job with benefits and weekends off. That piece of paper represented hope. The subway jolted, Emma swayed, and in that crowded chaos as she adjusted her grip, her purse slipped. The zipper, broken for weeks, gave way. The wallet tumbled out and hit the grimy subway floor with a soft thud. Emma didn't notice. She was thinking about Lily, about the bills, about hope. The train pulled into the station. The doors opened. Emma stepped off into the cold November morning, unaware that her entire world had just fallen onto a subway floor. Behind her, a man in an expensive coat bent down and picked up the wallet. David Brennan had taken the subway exactly 3 times in the last 5 years. He owned 2 cars and usually had a driver, but this morning his calendar was clear until noon, and something had pulled him toward the old routine. 20 years ago, he'd ridden this same line every day. Back then, he'd been nobody, a kid from nowhere with nothing but a dream and a willingness to outwork everyone else. He'd slept on couches, eaten ramen, worn the same 3 shirts in rotation, and he built an empire from nothing. Now, at 52, David Brennan was the CEO of Brennan Solutions, a tech consulting firm worth $200 million. He wore custom suits, lived in a penthouse, and had his face on magazine covers. But he never forgot where he came from. That's why, when he saw the wallet fall from the woman's purse, he didn't hesitate. He bent down and picked it up, expecting to catch up with her quickly. But the crowd swallowed her up. She was gone. David stood on the platform, holding the wallet. It was worn, the leather cracked and faded. He opened it carefully. $47, a driver's license, a photo of a young girl with bright eyes and a missing front tooth, and a folded piece of paper with an address circled in red ink. Job interview, Prestige Management Group, Nov 18, 10 a.m. David's chest tightened. He knew that feeling. The desperation, the hope pinned on a single opportunity. He'd been there. He looked at the driver's license. Emma Carter, 34 years old, an address in a neighborhood he recognized, one of the tougher parts of the city. David could have turned the wallet in to Lost and Found. He could have mailed it. But something stopped him. Something about the photo of that little girl. Something about the worn edges of that wallet. He made a decision. "I'll find her myself," he said quietly. By 9 a.m., David was back in his office, but his mind wasn't on the morning's emails. He handed the wallet to his assistant, Karen, a sharp woman in her 40s who'd been with him for 10 years. "I need you to find this woman, Emma Carter. Call the address on the license, discreetly. Tell her we found her wallet and we'd like to return it personally." Karen raised an eyebrow. "Personally? Sir, you have meetings. Cancel them. Sir, Karen, just do it, please." There was something in his voice that stopped her protest. She took the wallet and nodded. An hour later, she returned. "I reached her work number. She's frantic. She realized she lost it this morning, and she's been calling every lost and found in the city. She works at Clara's Diner on 5th. She said she'll be there until 3. Good. I'll go at 2:30. Karen hesitated. "Why are you doing this?" David looked out the window at the city below. "Because someone did it for me once, and it changed everything." At 2:30 p.m., David Brennan walked into Clara's Diner, the most out-of-place figure the restaurant had ever seen. His coat alone cost more than most people made in a month. Emma was refilling coffee for a table of construction workers when she saw him. For a moment, their eyes met across the diner. David approached the counter. "Emma Carter?" Emma froze. "Yes." He placed the wallet on the counter between them. Emma's face went white, then red. Then she grabbed the wallet with trembling hands, opening it quickly, counting the money, checking the paper. Oh my God, it's all here. Everything. I thought I've been." Her voice broke. David smiled gently. "You dropped it on the subway this morning. You found it? And you brought it all the way here?" "I did." Emma's eyes filled with tears. "Sir, I don't know what to say. This is everything. My interview is in 2 days, and I thought I'd lost the address and the money for Lily's school trip and—" She stopped, overwhelmed. "Take a breath," David said kindly. Emma did. Then she looked at him, really looked at him. "Why would you do this? You don't even know me." David's expression softened. "Because a long time ago, I was where you are, and someone helped me when they didn't have to. I'm just paying it forward." Emma wiped her eyes. Thank you so much. Can I buy you a coffee? It's the least I can do." David glanced around the diner. "Actually, I'd like to talk to you. Do you have a break soon?" Emma hesitated. I I have 15 minutes and 10 minutes. Perfect. 10 minutes later, Emma sat across from David in a corner booth, her hands wrapped around a cup of coffee she couldn't afford to drink on shift, but had ordered anyway out of politeness. "I'm sorry," she said quietly. "I'm still in shock. I thought I'd lost everything." "You didn't," David said simply, "and you won't." Emma looked at him, confused. David leaned forward. "Tell me about yourself, Emma. What's your story?" "My story?" She laughed nervously. "Why would you care? Humor me." Emma hesitated, then began. She told him about Lily, about working 2 jobs, about her ex-husband who'd left and never looked back, about the bills, the struggle, the hope pinned on a job interview she couldn't afford to miss. David listened without interrupting. When she finished, he was quiet for a long moment. "That interview you have," he finally said. "Prestige Management Group. What's the position?" "Administrative assistant. It's not much, but it has benefits. Health insurance, paid time off. I could drop one of my jobs and actually see my daughter." David nodded slowly. Then he did something Emma didn't expect. He pulled out his phone, made a call, and stepped outside. Emma sat there, bewildered. 5 minutes later, David returned and slid a business card across the table. "My name is David Brennan. I'm the CEO of Brennan Solutions. I want to offer you a job." Emma stared at the card, then at him, then at the card again. "What?" "I need someone I can trust. Someone with integrity. Someone who fights for what matters. You just told me your whole life story, and not once did you complain. Not once did you blame anyone. You just kept talking about your daughter and doing what's right. That's the kind of person I want in my company." Emma's heart was racing. "Sir, I don't have a college degree. I'm not qualified. I didn't either. I started with nothing, but I worked harder than everyone else. I was honest. I showed up. That's what I'm looking for. Not a resume. A person." "What kind of job?" "Executive assistant. You'd work directly with me. Manage my schedule, coordinate projects, handle communications. It pays $70,000 a year with full benefits." Emma's coffee cup slipped from her hand, clattering onto the table. $70,000. She made $23,000 across both her jobs. That's not possible." "It is, if you want it." Emma's eyes filled with tears. "Why? Why would you do this for me?" David's face grew serious. "Because 25 years ago, I was sleeping on a subway bench. A man named Richard Cho found me there. He owned a small business. He didn't offer me charity. He offered me a chance, a job, an opportunity to prove myself. I took it. I worked harder than I'd ever worked in my life. And 10 years later, when I started my own company, Richard was my first investor. He believed in me when no one else did." David paused. "Richard passed away 3 years ago. At his funeral, his daughter told me something he'd said before he died. He said, 'David became successful because someone gave him a chance. Now it's his job to give chances to others. I've been looking for the right person. And today, on that subway, I found you.'" Emma couldn't speak. She couldn't breathe. "You don't have to decide now," David said gently, "but the offer stands. Call me when you're ready." He stood to leave. "Wait," Emma said, her voice shaking. I need to know something." "What?" "What if I fail? What if I'm not good enough?" David smiled. "Then you'll learn, and you'll try again. That's all anyone can do. But I don't think you will. You've been fighting your whole life. Now you just get to fight for something better." He turned to leave, then stopped. "Oh, and Emma, that interview you have in 2 days, cancel it. You won't need it." And he walked out. Emma sat in that booth trembling, crying, holding a business card that felt like a golden ticket. Her life had just changed, and she didn't know she was ready. That night, after Lily was asleep, Emma sat at her kitchen table, staring at David Brennan's business card like it might disappear. $70,000. Health insurance. A real career. Time with her daughter. It sounded too good to be true, and in Emma's experience, things that sounded too good to be true usually were. She pulled out her phone and did what any person in her position would do. She Googled him. David Brennan, CEO, self-made millionaire, philanthropist. There were articles, interviews, photos of him at charity events. He was real. The offer was real. But doubt crept in like a cold wind under a door. "Why me?" she whispered. "What if he's wrong? What if I mess this up?" She thought about her life. 2 failed semesters of community college because she couldn't afford to continue. A marriage that fell apart. Jobs that barely paid the bills. She wasn't special. She wasn't educated. She was just trying. The fear was overwhelming. But then she looked at the photo of Lily on her refrigerator. Her bright, trusting eyes. Her smile that made every hard day worth it. "I have to try," Emma said out loud. "For her, I have to try." The next morning, Emma called the number on the card. A professional voice answered. "Brennan Solutions, this is Karen." "Hi, this is Emma Carter. Mr. Brennan gave me his card yesterday, and Emma?" "Yes, he's been expecting your call. Hold on." There was a click, then David's voice warm and steady. "Emma, I was hoping you'd call. I want to accept the job. I want to try." She could hear the smile in his voice. "Good. Can you start Monday?" "Monday. That's in 4 days. Is that a problem?" "No, I need to give notice at my jobs." "Of course. Take the time you need. We'll have everything ready for you. Mr. Brennan?" "David. Call me David." "David. Thank you. I won't let you down. I know you won't." The next 3 days were a blur. Emma gave her notice at both jobs. Her managers were shocked but happy for her. Mrs. Chen cried and hugged her. Lily was confused but excited that Mommy would be home more. But on Sunday night, the night before her first day, Emma's phone rang. It was a number she didn't recognize. "Hello? Emma Carter?" The voice was cold, professional, unfamiliar. "Yes? This is Jennifer Moss from Prestige Management Group. You had an interview scheduled with us that you canceled. I'm calling because we've received some concerning information." Emma's stomach dropped. "What do you mean?" "We were informed that you've accepted a position with Brennan Solutions under unusual circumstances. We've also been told that there may be questions about how you obtained that position." "What?" "I don't understand. We've been contacted by an anonymous source suggesting that your relationship with Mr. Brennan may not be entirely professional. Given the nature of your background and his position, we felt it was our duty to inform you that such arrangements often don't end well." Emma's blood went cold. "That's not true. He offered me a job because I'm sure you have your reasons, Miss Carter, but I'd encourage you to think carefully about the position you're putting yourself in. Men like David Brennan don't offer high-paying jobs to waitresses out of kindness. There's always a price." The line went dead. Emma stood there shaking, her mind racing. Someone was trying to sabotage her. But who and why? She didn't sleep that night. By morning, she was exhausted and terrified. But she got dressed. She took Lily to school, and she stood outside the Brennan Solutions building at 8:45 a.m., 15 minutes early, her heart pounding. "I didn't come this far to turn back now," she whispered. She walked inside. David was waiting for her in the lobby. When he saw her face, his smile faded. "Emma, what's wrong?" She told him everything. The phone call, the accusations, the fear. David's jaw tightened. "Someone's trying to intimidate you." "But who would do that?" "Someone who doesn't want to see you succeed. Someone threatened by change." He looked her in the eye. "Emma, I'm going to ask you one question, and I need you to be completely honest with me." "Okay. Do you trust me?" Emma looked at this man who'd returned her wallet, offered her hope, and asked nothing in return. "Yes," she said, "I do." "Then trust this. You earned this position. Not because of charity, not because of anything inappropriate, but because you have something most people don't. Character, integrity, heart. And no anonymous phone call can take that away from you." He gestured toward the elevator. "Now, are you ready to start your first day?" Emma took a deep breath. Then she nodded. Yes, I'm ready. Emma's first week at Brennan Solutions was the hardest week of her life. Not because the work was difficult, though it was. Not because people were unkind, though some were skeptical. But because every single day she fought the voice in her head that told her she didn't belong. David had been right about one thing. She had integrity, but he'd also given her something she'd never had before: responsibility. She managed his calendar, coordinated with department heads, prepared reports for board meetings. She learned software she'd never heard of. She made mistakes, and every time she did, she expected to be fired. But David never criticized, he corrected. He taught, he encouraged. "Everyone makes mistakes, Emma," he told her after she'd accidentally double-booked a critical meeting. "The question is whether you learn from them." She did. She learned fast. By the end of the second week, she was keeping up. By the third, she was excelling. By the fourth, she'd reorganized David's entire filing system and saved him 6 hours a week. Karen, who'd been wary at first, pulled her aside one afternoon. "I owe you an apology," she said. "For what?" "I thought David was making a mistake hiring you. I thought you'd be overwhelmed and quit. But you've proven me wrong. You're good at this, Emma. Really good." Emma felt tears prick her eyes. "Thank you. That means a lot." "Don't thank me. You did the work." But the anonymous calls didn't stop. They came to her cell phone, her work email. Always the same message: "You don't belong there. You're fooling everyone. It's only a matter of time before they see the truth." Emma didn't tell David. She didn't want him to think she couldn't handle it. But one Friday afternoon, 5 weeks into her new job, David called her into his office and closed the door. "Sit down," he said gently. Emma's heart raced. "Did I do something wrong?" "No, you did something right, and someone doesn't like it." He slid a folder across the desk. Inside were printouts of the emails and transcripts of the calls. "How did you—" "I've been in business a long time, Emma. I know when someone's being targeted. Our IT department traced the messages." "Do you know who sent them?" Emma shook her head. David opened the folder to the last page. A name was highlighted: Michael Carter, Emma's ex-husband. She felt like she'd been punched in the stomach. "I don't understand. He found out about your new job, and he's trying to ruin it. My lawyers believe it's because, if you're financially stable, you might pursue child support or custody arrangements he's been avoiding." Emma's hand shook. "He left us. He abandoned Lily. And now he's trying to destroy the one good thing that's happened to us?" "Yes," David said quietly. "But he won't succeed." "How can you be sure?" "Because I'm not going to let him. And more importantly, neither are you." David leaned forward. "Emma, I need to tell you something. When I offered you this job, it wasn't just because of what I saw on that subway. It's because I've seen what you've done since. You've worked harder than anyone in this office. You've been honest. You've been kind. You've been everything I hoped you'd be." He paused. "I'm promoting you. Head of operations. It comes with a raise and a guarantee that no one, not Michael, not anyone, can take this from you. You've earned it." Emma couldn't speak. "But," David continued, "I need you to make a choice. You can let his threats scare you, or you can fight. Not for me, not for this job, but for Lily. For yourself, for the life you deserve." Emma wiped her eyes. Then she stood up. "I'm done being scared," she said, her voice steady. "I'm done letting him control my life. I choose to fight." David smiled. "Good, because we've got work to do." Over the next month, Emma filed for formal child support. She documented everything. David's legal team helped her pro bono. Michael fought back, but his threats were empty. The judge ruled in Emma's favor: full custody, child support, restraining order. For the first time in years, Emma felt free. 6 months after that subway morning, Emma stood in front of her bathroom mirror in a new apartment. 2 bedrooms, a safe neighborhood, a kitchen where she could cook real meals. Lily had her own room, painted lavender, her favorite color. There were new books on the shelf, new clothes in the closet. Not expensive, but new, clean, hers. Emma looked at herself in the mirror. She looked different, rested, confident, hopeful. Her phone buzzed. A text from David. Board meeting at 10. Also, someone wants to meet you after. Don't be late. She smiled. David had become more than a boss. He'd become a mentor, a friend, a reminder that good people still existed in the world. At noon, after the board meeting where Emma had presented operations efficiency plan that saved the company $200,000, David walked her to a conference room. There's someone here who wanted to thank you personally, he said. Emma was confused. Thank me? For what? David opened the door. Inside was a woman in her 60s, elegant and kind-faced. Emma, this is Grace Cho, Richard Cho's daughter. Emma's breath caught. Richard Cho, the man who'd given David his chance. Grace stood and took Emma's hands. My father always said that kindness is a circle. You give it, and it comes back around. David told me your story, how he found your wallet, how you reminded him of why my father helped him all those years ago. Grace smiled, tears in her eyes. My father would have loved you, and I wanted you to know that what David did for you, you've already started doing for others. What do you mean? David spoke up. Do you remember Maria, the young woman who started in the mailroom last month? Emma nodded. Maria was a single mother, too. Emma had helped her navigate the company's daycare assistance program. She told me you spent your lunch breaks mentoring her, helping her with her resume, encouraging her. You didn't have to do that. It wasn't a big deal, Emma said quietly. It was to her, Grace said, just like what David did was to you. That's how it works, Emma. One person's kindness becomes another's hope, and the circle continues. That night, Emma tucked Lily into bed in her new lavender room. Mama, are you happy now? Lily asked. Emma kissed her forehead. Yes, baby, I am. Are you? Yes. I like our new home, and I like that you're home more. Me too, sweetheart. Me too. As Emma turned off the light, Lily said one more thing. Mama, that man who found your wallet, he's like a guardian angel, isn't he? Emma smiled in the darkness. Yes, honey, I think he is. But you know what? What? I think we all have the chance to be someone's guardian angel. We just have to choose kindness. 1 year later, Emma stood on a stage at Brennan Solutions' annual charity gala. David had asked her to speak about the company's new initiative, a program that hired and mentored single parents trying to rebuild their lives. Emma looked out at the audience. Hundreds of people, successful, powerful, privileged. And she told them her story. She told them about being a waitress, about losing her wallet, about a stranger who gave her more than her $47 back. He gave her dignity, opportunity, hope. I'm not special, Emma said, her voice steady. I'm just someone who needed a chance, and someone believed in me when I didn't believe in myself. That's what this program is about. Not charity, not pity, but opportunity. A chance for people to prove what they're capable of when someone sees their worth. The room erupted in applause. After the speech, a young woman approached Emma. She was nervous, clutching a resume. Miss Carter, my name is Sophie. I'm a single mom. I've been working 3 jobs. And I was wondering if maybe you'd look at my resume. I know it's not much, but I'm a hard worker and I just need a chance. Emma took the resume. She looked at this young woman, and she saw herself 2 years ago. Sophie, Emma said gently, let me tell you something. You don't need me to look at your resume. You need someone to see you. And I see you. Let's talk. The wallet Emma dropped on that subway contained $47, but what she gained was priceless. She learned that character in hardship defines destiny in abundance, that integrity opens doors money cannot buy. That kindness is never wasted, even when it seems small. David Brennan didn't just give Emma a job. He gave her hope, and Emma didn't just accept that hope. She multiplied it, because that's how kindness works. It's a circle. One act, one moment, one choice, and it ripples out, touching lives in ways we can't imagine. If this story touched your heart, share it. Not because Emma's story is unique, but because it's universal. We all struggle. We all need hope. We all deserve a chance. Like this video if you believe in second chances. Subscribe if you believe kindness can change the world, and comment below. Have you ever been someone's Emma or their David? Tell your story. Because every story of kindness is a light in the darkness. Remember, your character in hardship defines your destiny in abundance. Be kind, be honest, be brave. The wallet that changed everything wasn't about money. It was about a moment, a choice, a chance. What will yours be?